All right, this is chapter 8-6, factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. Our learning objective is to factor trinomials of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. And just to remind you guys, trinomials means I have 3 terms. So if I look at this generic form, I have 1, 2, 3 terms. And that makes the like a tricycle, trinomial, there's 3. All right, so the first scenario we're going to talk about is when A is positive. And in this example situation, our A is right here. And as you can see, A is equal to positive 5. So my method when I'm, at home factoring trinomials in my fun time, and you'd be surprised how often I find myself doing this. My method is more of a guess and check, but I have years of experience factoring. So I'm not going to expect you guys to just know how to do that. So one thing that we're going to look at is we're going to look at what happens when I multiply A and C together. So here, this one, 5 is A, 2 is C, and just for fun, which one's B? Just for fun.
The middle one.
Yeah, the middle one is B. It's 11. It's B. We'll use that in a second. Okay, so A times C. A is 5. C is 2. And we know what 5 times 2 is. Yes, 10. So we take a look. A times C is 10. And then I want to look at I want to compare 10 and B. As you guys notice, if you take notes with me, we use a lot of highlighting. So make sure that you have your highlighters ready because I love highlighting. All right, so we're going to look at 2 numbers that multiply to give us 10 and add to give us 11. So let's look at factors of 10 first, and then we'll look at their sum. So because I'm a math teacher, I know 1 times 10 will give me 10. I also know that 2 times 5 will give me 10. What is 1 plus 10? 11, and 2 plus 5 is 7. So now, I just want to say this right so that. All right, so we take our factors that we found to be true, 1 and 10, that have the sum of 11, and we split B up into 1 and 11. And then we are going to group it. So I'm going to put some crazy parentheses. So I'm going to group 5x squared and 1x, 10x squared, and 2. I'm grouping these things together. So now I'm just going to look at this guy right here. 5x squared and 1x have what in common? The term 5x squared and 1x have what item in common? An x. So I'm going to take that x and put it out front. If I take one of the x's away from 5x squared, I have just a 5x. And if I take 1x away from 1x, I just have the 1. And I'm not taking it away, subtracting, I'm actually factoring it out. All right, we're going to do the same thing with this guy here. 10x plus 2. What item does 10x and 2 have in common. 10x and 2. Factor-wise, add 2. So we're going to take that 2 out. What's 10 divided by 2? So 10x divided by 2 is 5x, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I want you guys to note that when we do a little grouping here, I end up with a 5x plus 1 and a 5x plus 1. Yay! So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out 5x plus 1. Not factor that whole business out to the front. When I take out the 5x plus 1, what am I left with? An x, a plus sign, and a 2. All right, if this is too lofty for you, you're like, man, that's a lot of highlighting and doesn't make sense to me. I want you to look at it in one other different way. We know the answer is 5x plus 1 and x plus 2. So I want you to look at 5x squared, 11x plus 2. Now this is old school, so take it or leave it. This could be in the lines of an 8-track player and rollerblades. But this is how I do it. If I'm going to factor, I know I'm going to have parentheses, parentheses. I know I'm going to have an x and an x. I just don't know the coefficients. So I look at my last number. What are the factors of 2? There's only 2 of them, yeah, so it's 2 and 1. So I know I'm either going to have a 2 here and a 1 here, or vice versa. So I'm going to start with that, and then you go, I have 5. What are the factors of 5? 1 and 5. Yay, this is a pretty easy problem. So the only factors of 5 I have are 1 and 5. And everything here is positive, so I know I'm going to have plus signs. The only thing I don't know is, does 5 go here and 1 go here, or switch it. So once you have your factors, then you're just plugging them in. So what I do is I plug them in and then I test. So here I would go 5x times 1x is 5x squared. 5x times 2 is 10x. 1 times 1x is 1x. And 1 times 2 is 2. This method worked for us the first time because I already knew the answer. But it worked. I may have to do this a couple of times if I don't get the order right. So you guys have the choice. You can either do it, finding the factors, splitting up the x, and then factoring, or I like eccentric. That's my personal favorite. All right, so let's do this scenario. 2m squared plus m minus 21, and this is straight from your worksheet. So I have 2 as my A and negative 21 as my C. How does 2 split up? What times what is 2? Yeah, so 1 and 2. That's a little bit hard. 21. How does 21 split up? We can go 3 and 7. Or we can be negative 7 and 3, because it's a negative 21 right here. Or we can go 1 and 21. So we have a couple different options. So if we're smart about it, we won't have to hunt and fish for too long. So I'm going to put 2m here and 1m here. And then I'm going to test. I'm just going to throw it out there. Like negative. All right, let's go. I do plus 3. Let's go positive 7 minus 3. That's my guess. So I guess positive 7 minus 3. So we go 2 times m, that is 2m squared. Seven m minus 6m minus 21 m minus 21. Okay, so we do the test and we find plus 7 minus 3 works, and what I did is, because I've done this a while, I knew that 2 times 3 is 6 and 1 times 7 is 7. So I know 6 and 7 can combine together to give us 1, because when I subtract them. Okay, so let's do this problem together. The area of a rectangular driveway is 2x squared plus 5x plus 25. So let's draw a picture, because why not have a lovely picture? The width of the driveway is x plus 5. The length of the driveway is, I don't know. But I know that length times the width has to equal our area. So I like this problem because it's partway done for us. So I know that I have that this is split up into 5 times 5. And I know my 2 splits up, thankfully we've done this a couple times, into 2 times 1. So I know my other 5 is going to go here, and my 2 has to go here. So I know 2x plus 5 is the length.